Hello everyone, I'm meteorologist Charlie Neese. It is the 10th of April 2025. This is a Thursday, and we will be seeing a chance of severe weather here in hotspot weather that I'll be highlighting in just a moment. And look, I know there are a lot of weather channels now on YouTube you could be visiting. I appreciate you spending some time right here on Hotspot Weather, where we take a look at the weather hotspots across the country and a U.S. forecast. The first hotspot is right here across the Tennessee Valley. This is where we stand a chance of seeing severe weather today. Now, with this type of system, we're not seeing a big chance of tornadoes, but hail and high winds will be a threat with this system that's coming in from the northwest as we go through the daytime today. And then as we see that system shift to the east, another area of cooler air moves in across the eastern part of the country. And really, we're going to see waves over the next 10 days to 2 weeks of cooler weather across this region. So it's really not going to be going anywhere. First of all, let's take a look at the severe weather threat. There you see a slight risk, a level 2 out of 5 for the Tennessee Valley down into Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, much of Tennessee, Kentucky, southeast Missouri, eastern part of Arkansas, and also the western part of Kentucky. Again, this is not a big tornado risk. This is mainly a hail and high wind risk for this area as we go through the daytime today. The other story, even though you're not hearing as much about it in the news, is we still have lots of rivers in this same region that are at flood stage or above in the purple areas, especially along the Ohio and Middle Mississippi River valleys and their tributaries. These are all in the purple major flood stage. So we have incredible flooding going on in these areas by the purple, although the flooding is beginning to shrink a little bit in these areas as well. But if you're going to be traveling, just know there's still many secondary roads and some primary roads still closed across these areas. Also know that as we go through the next few days, we're going to continue to see these river levels running very high across the Ohio River Valley and the Middle Mississippi River Valley, and it's only going to be slowly going down. So for those of you who are dealing with the flooding, you're going to have more to go before this is all said and done. And it is a serious situation for many areas in this Ohio and Middle Mississippi River Valley. So just keep that in mind. Now, as we look at what's going on the jet stream, that's the big picture. That's what we've been seeing that's been giving us this real big headache for severe weather is the pattern that we've been in. We've got a very energetic jet stream pattern, and we've had lots of warmth and moisture from the Gulf that's been pushing north. And as these storm systems ride through the jet, combined with all that warm and moist air, we've been having these tornado outbreaks. And so far this year, we've had more than 35 people killed, and it's only April 10th. And we have the heart of severe weather season to go. So please make sure that you stay tuned to the weather. Make sure that you pay attention to any warnings. The good news is we're seeing a break in the overall pattern with a dip in the jet stream across the east. We call it a trough. And when we get these troughs across the east, that tends to keep temperatures below average off and on, and it also tends to limit tornado activity across the eastern part of the country, which is really where we've been seeing the focus of the tornadoes this year. But let's take a look at the jet stream, and as we go through the day, this is the system that comes through today with that slight risk of severe weather, mainly hail and high winds. But notice the big trough that develops across the east, so much cooler than average from the Great Lakes down into the Ohio Valley. Now that system pretty quickly pushes out to the east, and as we get into Sunday, we're starting to see a little bit of a ridge build. So again, calmer weather returns for the end of the weekend, but look what happens as we head into next week as well. This is overnight Monday into Tuesday, another energetic system pushing through the jet stream will be bringing another chance of thunderstorms to this area. Right now, not looking at widespread severe, but once that system pushes through, this trough sets up. So next week, look for temperatures to remain below average across the eastern part of the country. Then as we head into the end of next week, things begin to settle out just a little bit. We see a big ridge developing, much warmer across the nation's midsection. And we will see by the time we get into next weekend, a warming trend for the east, but it's going to be brief as another trough develops and begins to push in our direction. So let's take a look at what the models are saying about this severe weather chance across this region as we go through the daytime today. This is at 10 a.m. We do have some showers and thunderstorms across eastern Tennessee up into eastern Kentucky, but the main wave of severe weather comes during the heat of the day when we combine some of this instability with some moisture and that energy coming down from the jet stream. And by the time we get into the evening hours, this is 7 o'clock in the evening, thunderstorms in pockets and waves across parts of Kentucky, down into Tennessee, into the Nashville area, also across southern Illinois, parts of northern Alabama, northern Georgia. Any of these cells could contain some large hail and some gusty winds. But as we head into the evening hours, those gradually die off after the sun sets and we lose that instability. So it's mainly a time period from about noon up until around 10 o'clock in the evening where we stand to see the best chance of severe weather during the day on the 10th. And then as we head into the 11th, things get much quieter. A few scattered showers will be possible on the 11th as we go into the afternoon, some redevelopment, but the chance of severe weather with hail and gusty winds will be lower as there's not quite as much energy on Friday across this area. So it's mainly a Thursday severe weather threat during the afternoon and evening hours. On the big picture, once this system, this area of low pressure kind of sweeps off to the east, there's our trough across the east. And by the time we get into the afternoon on the 11th, which is on Friday, we're seeing chances of rainfall across the northeast down into the middle Atlantic states. Look how calm, though, it is across the nation's midsection back into the Rocky Mountains, and that is a nice break from all this active weather we've been having. By 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, some snow showers for New England, mixing in with the rainfall, a few leftover showers for Pennsylvania and places like Philadelphia, and then that cool pocket continues to affect this area with temperatures pretty chilly on Saturday across the Northeast. But again, much of the rest of the country is beginning to see a break and beginning to warm up a bit as we head into the beginning of the weekend. Now on the 13th, which is Sunday, 7 a.m. in the morning, this ridge is going to keep conditions really nice for Sunday across the nation's midsection back into the Ohio and Tennessee valleys where we have been seeing all that active weather, and we'll also be seeing an end to the rainfall across the Northeast. And then as we head deeper into Sunday, we start to see our next storm system and our next cold front forming. And by 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday, here's our next front. So we are, as we head into the beginning of next week, we're going to see another push of cooler air. And with all that, that is why we're calling for the eastern part of the country to remain with temperatures pretty chilly through this period. Let me show you what the 6 to 10 day outlook looks like from April 15th through the 19th, below average temperatures from the Climate Prediction Center across the eastern part of the country, much above back out to the west. And we'll go a little further into time. The 8 to 14 day temperature outlook continues with temperatures across the eastern part of the country below average. This is April 17th through the 23rd with above average across the west. Now, after that, it does appear that we'll see more in the way of warm air shifting off toward the east, and we'll start to see a break in this troughiness across the eastern part of the country. And basically what that means is we may return to a warmer and stormier pattern again, much like we did see for the end of March and the very beginning of April. Well, as we go into the heart of severe weather season, if you want help formulating your severe weather safety plan for your family, check out this video. Also on my YouTube shorts, I have lots of fascinating facts and safety tips about tornadoes in those shorts. Thanks again for visiting me here on Hotspot Weather, and I'll see you next time.